I do it this way because I'm used to like my colored lights and the whole deal. Hey, YouTube. I do have to get a new computer. I'm even looking at YouTube at the quality of the stream. Ugh. Anyway, I think I've got the light on full, but it is what it is. That's a little, slightly brighter. There we go. That's at least slightly brighter. Nothing we can do about it. Anyway, hello all. It's funny. It's funny. I'm not used to doing this just with the YouTube with my camera. It's my regular camera just sucks. I mean, the quality is like, because I can tell it on my end, at least it looks kind of blah on YouTube. Anyway, you know how it is. No big deal. Anyway, all right, guys. So welcome all. You find the sound of the laptop better than the good mic? I'm surprised about that, Dave. That may be a Discord thing. It shouldn't be better. That's very surprising. I mean, I believe you, but that's funny. All right. And Invictus. All right, let me get TikTok going, and then we're ready. Go live. All right, because we're already live with the rest of you. I am in Chicago area visiting my sister. All right, mirror my video. There we go. Yeah, it looks better on TikTok. You know, it's also funny because I think it's the iPad, because my camera's old on my computer. My computer's old. So like on the iPad, it's a much better looking camera, which is interesting. Like I can tell just looking at it, it just looks, the quality of the filming is better, which is interesting. Anyway, welcome everybody. Hey, Emory in Michigan. Oh, thanks, Tokyo. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Anyway, welcome, guys. I'm going to adjust my lighting, not my lighting, but my computer. There we go, a little bit. Anyway, hey, guys. Yeah, so like I said, I'm not sure what I'm doing this week for going live, but today was a rather important day. Although, honestly, there isn't a lot of news today. Today is a very nuanced day. Hey, Bjorn in Sweden. Today's a very nuanced news day, which is interesting. So interesting for us to talk about. I'll sort of fill you guys in on what's going on. Thank you, Addie, for the gifts. Thank you, Bjorn, Carmelina. But we don't quite, okay, put it this way. Today was not bad so far, which is good. Let me just do a quick introduction, guys, and we'll get rolling here. So I'm John Aravosis. Welcome all. This is my show. We talk about the latest news from the U.S. I am based in Washington, D.C. I'm in Chicago right now, but based in Washington, D.C., longtime political guy, journalist, et cetera, in politics. So I try to sort of go through the news, pick what's going on, and help you guys understand, beneath the news, what's actually happening. A lot of it is Trump lately, of course. We also have a special place in our hearts for the Ukraine crisis. So we talk a lot about that too. So we'll be talking about, today's discussion will be Ukraine. That's the big news going on right now in Washington. Anyway, just a quick reminder, this is my full-time job. So every gift keeps the show going. So helps keep the show. So appreciate you guys' support. So here we go. Trump met today with Zelensky, president of Ukraine, in the White House, but he also invited 7 other European leaders who basically came to back up Zelensky. Very interesting. Thank you, Addie. Thank you, Mustard, Pedro, Joy, for the gifts. Very interesting gambit, interesting day. It didn't seem to go badly, which is fascinating. Thank you, Karen, Pedro, Annie. It could have gone badly. Remember a couple months ago when Zelensky was at the White House and Trump and J.D. Vance tag team beat him up? It didn't happen today. I thought it might have. I'm going to sort of go through what happened today. I want to give you a little background because I think it's important. Oh, hello, that was funky. Thank you, Annie. That was well. I was like looking, going, what the hell is that? So it's a kind of a cool, funky gift on TikTok. Kind of how we got to where we are. So Trump had said when he came to office he was going to end the war in Ukraine in a day or whatever. Trump clearly, a couple of different things going on. Trump ran on this platform of very isolationist, right? So America not getting involved in wars at all. At the same time, then he started his own war with Iran. So, Trump being Trump, right? Thank you, Adventures. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Heather. Meaning Trump says something doesn't mean he's going to stick with it or that he believes it. Nonetheless, he has tried to get involved in several wars around the world that he's tried to resolve. Ukraine's one of them. Now, the concern with Ukraine, of course, thank you guys for the TikTok gifts there. The concern with Ukraine, of course, is Trump's weird affinity for Putin and to what degree that was going to cause problems here. The last several months. Well, okay. So Trump's weird affinity for Putin. Trump becomes president in January. That's when you get sworn in the U.S. January 20th or so. And Trump immediately starts picking on Zelensky and calls him a dictator, and then invites him to the White House and publicly berates him. And we're all going, "Oh, this is a disaster," right? At the same time, Putin is playing a real game with Trump, and we've all been seeing it. That Putin election night, Putin just mocked Trump. Russian state television, Trump gets elected. It's election night in America, early November. And Russian state TV, hey Dario, which is run by Putin, it's a dictatorship. Russian state TV, to celebrate Trump's victory, decides to have a long discussion about Melania's nudie photos. Melania's had all these photo shoots that were nude, basically. And Russian state TV is discussing it, but putting the photos up. And of course, they've got like a studio audience in a big room with a panel. So the screens behind them are giant-sized, oversized screens, right? And they've got pictures of Melania nude on giant screens, making fun of her and making fun of Trump, saying, "Oh, this is what we're going to get." That is not the kind. And Putin clearly approved. They wouldn't do this if Putin didn't approve. This is Russia. It's a dictatorship. That was weird. So Putin has been teasing Trump, has been kind of trying to put Trump down, put Trump in his place, show Trump that Putin's the boss from the beginning. And a lot of us were wondering how that was going to play with Trump, because let's face it. Oops, my phone. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I've got my automatic silence on my phone set up for DC, so it doesn't go off for another hour. A lot of us were wondering how that was going to play with Trump, because Trump is not the kind of guy you screw around with and make fun of his wife and belittle him and show him you're the boss, right? That's not Trump. But Trump at the same time has a very weird affinity for Putin, and he wants to make Putin happy, right? So it's a weird conflict. Anyway, gets us to like a couple of weeks ago, and Trump has had it with Putin, and Trump is threatening the Russians. Trump tells the Russians, "You've got," I think it was 50, was it 50 days? I'm forgetting exactly, guys. How many days was it that he was giving the Russians to reach peace in Ukraine, or at least a ceasefire, but peace? And a couple days later says, "Forget it. We're not going to do 50 days. We're going to do," so it was 50 days. Thank you, guys. "We're going to do 14 days. Thank you, Russell, for the gift. There we go. For the TikTokers, there's a dragon that I have to open my mouth and the flames come shooting out. Something we did not know at the beginning. Very cool gift. Thank you for that. Thank you, Terry, as well, for the mystery mask. So Trump lowers it to 2 weeks and he says, "I know the Russians aren't serious. We're not going to wait 50 days for me to get my revenge on Putin and put massive sanctions and all this kind of stuff. We're going to wait 2 weeks, and if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire, he's toast." Well, again, we're thinking this is great. Trump gets Putin now. He gets that Putin is not a fair actor. Putin is playing Trump, blah, blah, blah. So we get to like a week from maybe 10 days ago. And all of a sudden, Trump announces, I'm going to, I'm trying to think of the exact timeline with Putin, but more or less, Trump suddenly changes tune and goes, "I've talked to Putin, and he has a great idea for a peace plan." And we're all going, "Oh, God." And so Trump up until now has threatened Putin, "You better agree to a ceasefire immediately, or I'm going to come down with massive sanctions. I'm going to put massive sanctions on the Indians, on the Chinese, anybody doing trade with you." And the Russians were getting worried. Well, Putin talks to Trump and all of a sudden says, Trump goes, "I've got a great peace plan from the Russians." And we're all going, "Oh, no." And Trump says, "We want the Ukrainians to give up a bunch of land, and in exchange, the Russians will agree to a ceasefire." And we're all going, okay, first of all, a couple different pieces of land. He wanted the Ukrainians to give up Crimea that the Russians stole in 2014. Now, give up, the Russians already control it. That's not the point. He wanted the Ukrainians to say, "Russia, this land belongs to you. We legally forfeit it, and it now is Russia." You want Ukraine to say that? That's a bit much. Second of all, Putin wanted America to recognize the land and say, "Oh, yes, this land is Russia," right? Okay. He then wanted the Ukrainians to give up a bunch of land in the east, in eastern Ukraine. Now, this land in particular is land that Russia really, really, really wants, and it's land that Ukraine has incredibly dug in on, so that it's impossible for Russia to get the land at this point. Russia's been advancing very slowly in Ukraine. but not in this area. In this area, the Ukrainians are so dug in, the Russians can't get it. So Putin, of course, picks the area that Ukraine has the best defense, where the Russians cannot get the land. They can't win militarily, and says, oh, we'd like you to just give us that land. And so, right, so Ukraine gives up all this land, and in exchange, what does Ukraine get? Peace? No. Security guarantees? No. Membership in NATO? No. Ukraine gets a temporary ceasefire with Russia if they give up all the land. Well, okay, the problem there is, let's pretend Ukraine wants to give up all this land, right? Oh, thank you, adventures. Let's pretend Ukraine wants to give up all this land. You give up all this land to Russia. Russia then has a temporary ceasefire, and a week later, Russia says, okay, we don't want to do the ceasefire anymore. We're going to fight you again. Ukraine can't get its land back. Ukraine already gave the land to Russia. Physically, it can't get it back. Why would Ukraine want to give up land to start with? Thank you, adventures, let alone give up land in exchange for only a ceasefire. If anything, Ukraine could give up land if they wanted to for a lasting peace, and they'd have to decide whether that's worth it. But for a ceasefire, literally a ceasefire is we stop fighting and tomorrow we start fighting again. Oh, well, sorry. So that was stupid. Thank you for all the gifts, guys, on TikTok. I appreciate it. So that had us very worried. Well, Trump then starts kind of backing off. Thank you, Russell, for rock the stage. Trump starts backing off. We find out that Trump is meeting Putin in Alaska on Friday, a couple days ago, but Trump starts backing off on his demands that Ukraine agree to this peace plan. No. Friday's not about a ceasefire. So that was him backing off of holding Russia to the ceasefire. But it's not about Ukraine agreeing to anything. It's about talking to Putin and sizing him up. It's about preparing for the next meeting, right? And we're like, okay, that's better. Trump is lowering the expectations. He's not saying that the Friday meeting, which was a couple days ago with Putin, was about forcing Ukraine to agree to give up land, right? Thank you, adventures, for the gifts. So we get to Friday, and what happens? Trump meets with Putin, and going into the meeting said he wanted a ceasefire. Comes out of the meeting and says, well, Putin convinced me that a ceasefire is a bad idea. And we're all going, oh, no. What happens next? Trump and Putin have a press conference, but it's not a press conference. They don't take questions. Putin goes first, which was very weird and very unusual. Trump should have gone first. Trump was the host. Putin does not go first. Second point, you never let Putin go first. You always go first, because if Putin goes first, or whomever you're negotiating with, you let them go first, they get to set the stage. They get to set the tone. Thank you, Kim, for the very cool, powerful mind gift. You let them set the tone. You let Putin be the one that says, oh, it was good, it was bad, it was this, it was that. Well, Putin comes out and talks for 15 minutes and doesn't say anything. He gives a history of World War II, which nobody cares about, and doesn't say, and Trump, same thing happens. Trump comes out. Neither of them, both of them pretend like, oh, the talks were great. And we're like, okay, was there a ceasefire? No. Putin convinced me a ceasefire is a bad idea. We're like, okay. Was there a peace treaty? No. Did Putin make any concessions? No. Is there going to be another meeting? No. Both of them said, oh, we may have more meetings. And Putin says, how about in Moscow? And Trump laughs and says, oh, I'll be in trouble if I do that. There was no, thank you, Russell, for the gift. There was no additional meetings agreed to. Nothing. Nothing was agreed to at this meeting. Okay? Even worse, they had morning meetings, and then they were going to have afternoon meetings. Morning meetings were going to be Ukraine, or morning meeting was going to be Ukraine, and the afternoon, I believe, was going to be, the Russians wanted it to be arms control and trade and other stuff. Trump brought a bunch of his economic advisors with. They canceled the afternoon. The afternoon meeting was going to be a luncheon. They canceled the luncheon. Putin left. What was that about? Right? This was not a good day for Trump, for Putin. But at the same time, Trump was making a lot of comments that had everybody very worried at the meeting about how he doesn't think a ceasefire is necessary anymore. So Trump leaves. Putin leaves. Trump then makes comments over the last couple of days saying, well, it's up to Zelensky now. Zelensky's the only one who can reach peace. If he wants to keep killing Ukrainians, that's his job, right? And basically suggesting that the war is happening because of Zelensky and the Ukrainians, whereas no, the war is happening because the Russians invaded Ukraine unprovoked, right? And only Zelensky can cause peace. No, the Russians can snap their fingers and cause peace today. Just stop attacking Ukraine for no reason, right? So very weird coming into today, very bad news. What happens today? Zelensky goes to the White House to meet Trump. At the same time, 7 European leaders I believe 5 national leaders and 2 general leaders. In other words, Mark Rutte, who's the Secretary General of NATO, I believe was there. Ursula von der Leyen, who's is it the president of the European Commission? I never understand the EU stuff, but she's a big wig with European diplomacy, okay, with the European Union. Giorgia Meloni, Italian Prime Minister, is there. Macron, France, Starmer, the British Prime Minister, Merz, the German Prime Minister, is there, and help me, the Finnish president is there. Am I right? Was there anybody I missed, guys, or was that the gang that was there? Now the Finns are interesting because there was a huge article last week about the Finnish president. He's kind of a Trump whisperer. Trump loves him. He plays golf. Trump loves the guy. So the Finnish president gets on the phone with Trump almost every day and kind of works him, which is really helpful. I mentioned France. Yep, France was there. So they all come now to be there to back up Zelensky, which is great. Things went okay. The big concern today was that Trump was going to lose it, that he was going to, because Trump has all along been saying, even this weekend, well, it's up to Zelensky. It's up to Zelensky if we have peace. In other words, it's up to the Ukrainians to give up land or there's no peace. Today, Trump didn't say that. Today, Trump was very nice to Zelensky. Zelensky was very suck up to Trump, which he needs to be. The Europeans and Trump got along. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean things are going to be okay tomorrow. But today, things went very well with Trump. That's good. Okay. Additionally, there was a significant discussion today about security guarantees. Trump supported the idea. Trump said that the Europeans would take the lead, but America would back them up. Well, that gets interesting. The security guarantees the Europeans were talking about, and Trump did not say no. Now, Trump might say no. Because again, the problem with Trump is, and I've said this before, he doesn't really believe anything. I mean, he believes, I think, in his own personal narcissism, his own personal interest. He doesn't have complicated views on foreign policy, right? So Trump can be manipulated. Thank you, Annie. He can have one view today. Thank you, Jamie, or Jaime, depending. Melanie, for the gifts there. Trump could have one view today and have a totally different view tomorrow. So that's because he's not taking a view on Ukraine or Russia based on his longstanding knowledge of foreign affairs and American security, right? That's not what's doing it. So he can flip-flop. Today, the Europeans made a significant discussion, thank you, Annie, about security guarantees, basically saying the concept is that how do you end the war in Ukraine when Putin has already invaded repeatedly? Putin's invaded twice. What is stopping Putin from invading a third time? Why won't Putin simply end the war, build his military back up, and in 3 to 5 years invade again and take the rest of Ukraine? That's what he's done twice now. Good question, right? Well, what the French and the Brits have been saying, and other Europeans, Meloni seems to be on board of Italy. She's great. On Ukraine, she's great. What they've been suggesting is, and the French have been taking real lead on this as well, have been putting European troops in Ukraine. And basically, you would do it as part of a peace treaty. As part of the peace, to keep the peace, the Europeans would have a peacekeeping force in Ukraine. And the idea would be for them to basically be a tripwire, really. I mean, they don't say this directly, but the idea would be for them to be a tripwire. Thank you, Elizabeth. Meaning, if you don't want the Russians to invade Ukraine again, you put European troops in Ukraine, enough of them so that if the Russians invade, if the Russians invade, they've got to bomb the European troops, fight the European troops, go over the land the European troops are in order to take that land. If they do that, they kill the Europeans. And if they kill European troops, they've just declared war on the Brits, the French, the Italians, maybe the Germans, who knows, right? Certainly the Finns, the Poles, the Baltics, and then you've got World War III. Now, is it risky? Of course, but that's not really the point. The point is you're doing it to stop war, not to start war, because you know Russia does not want to go to war against all the Canadians. Sure, Russia does not want to go to war against all of the Europeans and the North Americans, right? So it's a great idea. It's a risky idea. It's an idea that Trump would not like. Trump endorsed it today. That was strange. That was very strange. I'm not convinced he's going to stick with it, but it was interesting. I think what's happening with Trump is you certainly have the Finnish president who is a bit of a Trump whisperer and is able to influence Trump. I think it's clear that some Republicans have spoken to Trump privately, I think. And I think they stood, either they convinced him or they stood up to him to convince him that this was going to be a problem if he loses. Frankly, you tell Trump, sorry, my nose is itching again, even in Chicago, my nose itches. You tell Trump that if he caves and gives away Ukraine and we lose Ukraine, Ukraine is going to be his Afghanistan and he's going to be another Biden, right? You tell that to Trump, he's not. Now, keep in mind, Afghanistan was Trump's anyway. It was Trump's peace treaty with the Taliban that Biden agreed to, and that caused all the problems. So we can go there, but the point is that that kind of argument works with Trump. So somebody on the Republican side convinced Trump to go along. Bottom line, Trump was supportive of the peacekeepers, the security people, which was crazy. It was great, but it's crazy. The Russians flipped out today. Absolutely flipped out. The Russians were not happy because the Russians, I mean, look, not only do the Russians not want peacekeepers there because they want to invade again, also, Russia doesn't want NATO troops on its border because they're afraid NATO's going to invade. Well, too bad. I'm of the mind that, honestly, if the Russians say no and they can't reach peace, you literally put French and German and other NATO troops in Ukraine like overnight. If they cannot reach a peace deal, you put those troops in overnight. And you put them along all the borders of everywhere in Ukraine so that they're not, you could even put them unarmed if you want. Put them unarmed, right? But put them there. And and you tell the Russians, it's over. Your war is over. You can no longer attack. You can no longer go into Ukraine. If you do, you're going to bomb our troops. And if you bomb our troops, we're at war. And the Russians are going to sit there and go, oh, crap, if that happens. Anyway, I'm trying to see what other news. That was sort of the big news summary today. It was pretty wild. Let me just look here really quick. Trump lied about U.S. support for Ukraine again. Of course, I just wish he would not lie so much. But thank you, Eric. Trump said, Biden has given $350 billion to Ukraine. No. Biden's military support to Ukraine got up to around $180 billion, less probably, but up to maybe $180 billion total. That's not small, but it's not $350 billion. Trump just lies about this because it's what he does. Trump also got asked about mail-in ballots. Trump is also, interestingly enough, and this is related to this though, Trump has now announced a campaign today to outlaw mail-in ballots that you send your ballot in the mail, and was it starting? Yeah, we're getting bad weather here, unfortunately. Oh well. And hope the dog doesn't notice. Trump is now on a tear about banning mail-in ballots, voting by mail for polls. The reason, he said, and I don't even remember on Friday if I played you guys the tape of this. I may have. I did a TikTok on this. Trump goes on. Actually, Trump. I don't know if he was on Hannity's show yet. Trump goes on Sean Hannity's show on Fox News on Friday night after the summit with Putin and says, actually, I'm going to see if I can find the tape. It was a crazy, I've got the tape here. Hold on. It was a crazy tape. Trump basically says that Putin has explained to him, Putin told him something really interesting. Putin explained to him that Trump actually won the election in 2020. And the reason he lost, but the reason it was stolen, Putin said, was because of mail-in ballots. And Trump needed to ban mail-in ballots because Putin told him, we're the only country in the world that allows mail-in ballots. Totally untrue. At least 36 countries have mail-in ballots around the world, many of them in Europe. Putin totally lied. But the weird part was for Trump to say, Putin told me something very interesting. I won. And going on, well, what did Trump do? He announced a campaign today to ban mail-in ballots because of what Putin told him. I think this is it. Hold on a second here.
One of the most interesting things, he said your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting. He said mail-in voting, every election. He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election. But mail-in voting, Sean, Oh, Vladimir Putin said something.
Okay.
One of the most
I mean,
interesting.
this was Friday on Fox News, and today he announced a campaign to ban mail-in voting in America. I mean, and again, going into the meeting today, we were thinking, oh, we're screwed, right? Thank you, Eric, for the crown. We're thinking we're totally screwed, right? I mean, Trump is now literally launching a nationwide campaign based on Putin's lie to him. Like, I mean, he really. The weird part too is that Trump thinks telling people he's doing this because Vladimir Putin told him to is somehow a good idea, right? Like, why would you say, and I'm doing this because Vladimir Putin told me to? Like, are you crazy? In any case, yeah. I just had to bring that one up because it was a little scary. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. So that's what happened today. It was good. I mean, the meeting overall was good. We don't have, it wasn't bad. Putin being an expert on voting. The Russians don't have fair elections. Putin's been president for 20 years, 25 years now. Well, on and off. He was prime minister too, because he's stolen the elections. He's stolen every election. So for the Russians to talk about fairness in elections, Putin knows. And also, how do you not, if you're Trump, how do you not look at this and go, Putin, clearly if Putin is saying this, it's going to be a lie and he's trying to spin me. No, not at all. Hello, dog. How you doing? How you doing? Huh? Yeah? Hi. Oh, Layla too. Hello. Layla, you want to say hi to everybody? Oh, hold on. You guys remember Layla? Layla's the one that fell asleep on my shoulder back at mom's about a year ago, or a year and a half ago at Easter. Hello. Oh, sorry. Hold your legs. There we go. She doesn't like to be held without holding her legs. There we go. Want to say hi, Layla? Hard to see because she's black, so she's a little harder to. Hello. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Now my nose can itch. Yeah, she's a trip. But yeah, she's the one that I was holding and she fell asleep on my shoulder. Yes, you. Again. Ah. All right, putting you down. Thank you. Oh my gosh. There you go. Up. All right. Yeah, we're getting bad storms coming, so neither dog likes that. So yeah, she's a trip. Anyway, so that is, Sasha gets jealous, yes. Not too bad, which is surprising because for her, she gets very jealous, but she's been pretty good this time, which is good. So anyway, so that's what's up, guys. That's what happened today. It was not bad. I mean, it could be much worse, obviously, but I am in Chicago, yep, but it was not bad. Anyway, but yes, we have very bad storms coming, which sucks. Did it get? Oh yeah, it got dark fast. Russia has mail-in voting, I think, for soldiers or something, or soldiers and Russians abroad. They have mail-in voting. They do. Yes, I looked it up. Maybe a dozen European countries have mail-in voting. It's crazy. Show papers to get back into DC. I know they're doing a lot of crazy stuff still in DC. I know. Putin, I don't know why Putin showed the pictures of Melania. I mean, clearly Putin, look, Putin, I love that Pharaoh mask. Thank you, Elizabeth. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Think back to what Putin did to Angela Merkel. Okay, so Angela Merkel, who's the, Sasha's back in her bed again. Good girl. Angela Merkel is the German, she was the head of Germany, German chancellor. And she goes to meet Putin. I'm going to find the picture again. She goes to meet Putin, I believe, for the first time. And Putin knows that Angela Merkel is deathly afraid of dogs. So what does he do? While he's got her in the room, he brings the dog out to meet Angela Merkel because he knows she's terrified of dogs. And again, you've got to look at this, the crossed legs, the crossed hands. And if you know that Angela Merkel's terrified of dogs and it's a big black dog. And the dog comes around and starts sniffing her and everything else. I mean, incredibly rude. He knew what he was doing. Oh, look at this. And then he even has the dog, check this out. He even has the dog sit at her feet, right? So just like harassing, it's incredibly harassing and bullying, right? Has the dog sit at her feet, okay? And she should have left. I don't know why she stayed. I at the time I said she should have walked out. She should have literally said, you know what, really cute. You're a 13-year-old boy. And if you want to act like an adult and the leader of a great country, call me and maybe we'll talk again. But I'm leaving because you're a child. And if you want to ruin relations with Germany and the West, go for it. But I'm not here to help a 13-year-old boy, whatever. She was said, I'm a leader of a country. I'm a grown woman. You're a 13-year-old boy. When you have an adult leader of your country, call me back and we'll meet. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ivan. But she didn't. Think of what Putin did to Merkel in terms of what he's been doing to Trump. Election, I mentioned this before. Election night, the Russians showed all the pictures of Melania Trump, the sort of the nudie photos and those photos of Melania. Election night when Trump won this time around, the Russian state television put up all the photos of Melania to basically mock her and to mock Trump. That's nasty. I mean, that, again, whatever you think of Melania, that's nasty. That, to me, that strikes me just like what Putin did to Angela Merkel with the dog, right? There's this nastiness, this trying to put Trump down, trying to control him, trying to make him lesser, I think that's what, I don't know what he thinks he's getting out of it. Then again, Putin's KGB, so, former KGB, he somehow is trying to, but again, he's right, it's humiliation in AR, but I don't know what he thinks he gets out of it. Somehow he thinks he's going to control you by humiliating you, by making you lesser of a person. I don't get it. Because to me, especially Donald Trump, by the way, I would think that Donald Trump's the last person to do that to, right? I would think that, what you doing, dog? I would think Trump would be the last person to do that to. That you do that to Trump and Trump would go through the roof, right? The last thing you try to do is, you can try to manipulate Trump, but trying to do it by criticizing him and telling him, right? Hey dog, what do you want? You want more water? Really? Probably? Because I'm in the middle of my show. Is that the idea? I could try giving her a touch of water. She may want more water. I guess, but again, I don't quite get why. I'm going to give Sasha. You guys know how this goes. Anybody who watches my show regularly knows in DC, she always wants more water. I think she may want a touch right now. I'm going to give her a touch, but that's it. Give me 1 second. She shouldn't have to go out because I took her out before the show. All right, a little bit of water. Or are you getting worried because of the rain? That could be a possibility too. That could be a possibility. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. All right. All right. Oh, maybe, okay. Well, maybe she did. It's possible she did want water. We'll see. So I took her out before the show, so it shouldn't have been the issue. Anyway, so yeah, who knows why Putin's doing this? I don't think it actually did start raining. I think you're right. I can't believe you're hearing the rain, but I think I'm hearing it though. Yeah, it may have just started. Anyway, oh yeah, I'm visiting my sister, CST. The interesting thing. So Melania decided to, or Trump, whatever, in Melania's name, send Putin a letter, a heartfelt letter about the death in Ukraine and how only he could stop it or something. I got two responses to this. One is, give me a break. The other is, it's, well, two things. Putin doesn't care that Melania Trump is sending him a letter saying, stop killing the children, right? I am, however, intrigued that, and I think, well, I'm a little intrigued that Trump thought this was a good idea, but I'm very intrigued if Melania thought this was a good idea. Look, if the woman is trying to advocate for Ukraine, I'm not going to complain about that. You never know. One of the big things I learned in politics was like spousal lobbying, we call it. And I had friends who would do this. They would get things done on Capitol Hill by going through the wives. They would befriend the wives of senators and the wives of congressmen and basically not manipulate, but befriend them and get them to support their cause, and then get the wife to lobby the senator or congressman husband, which was fascinating. So if Melania wants to weigh in, you know what? Again, I sort of look at it as, I think it's silly giving Putin a love letter, but you know what? If she wants to help, and it possibly could help, what the hell? You know, why not? Right? So I need to make sure my dog is, although I think my dog's freaking out because of the rain. Sorry, guys. What you doing, dog? What you doing? Huh? I don't think you've got to go out. So I worry about this because I always worry about whether she's got to go out, but I took her out like, right before the show. So it'd be 40 minutes ago. What you doing, huh? I wonder whether she's here. You want to come here? Come here, Sash. She was laying down nicely until 5 minutes ago. Come here. You want to come here? I think she may have figured out it's raining. God, we had a crazy storm the other night too. My God. I mean, Ashley must have heard it too. We had like insane thunder 2 nights ago and the dog didn't care. And I was like, thank God. Anyway, thanks, E-Rocket. Not my house, it's my sister's, but thank you. Anyway, well, I also think it's interesting that Trump even thought the letter was a good idea. That seemed a little crazy to me, but what the hell, Anyway, so what else? What's up, guys? We can talk about any of this. I mean, what do you think? I'm kind of, like I said, I expected much worse today, and this was pretty good so far, which is a victory. Let's see. Sasha, what's going on? Huh? Sorry, I've got it. This is driving me nuts, guys. Because I don't want her to like actually need to go out. Give me a second here. What do you do? Oh, you do. Okay, come on. Let's go real quick. It's raining out. We're in trouble. I think it might already be raining. Oh God, it's pouring. You know what's that? It's pouring out there. Really? Yeah, that's not going to work, I think. You want to go up? All right. That is not going to work. Yeah, 1 second. What? The calls aren't helping either. Sorry, guys. 1 sec here. Not very good. 1 second. Not very good here. Here, you want to go here? Why don't you go here? Here. Sasha, come. Right there. Here. Right. Right. There you go. All right. Well, great. So great. The dog may have to go out. It's pouring out there. It is, as the Brits say, pissing rain. It is pouring out there. There is no way she's going to go out. So I just put a doggy. Want to come in? I just put the little doggy pee pad by the door, and let's see what happens. I took her out right before the show. Like, what can you do with these dogs? I love you, dog, but seriously, you want to come in and lay down again? I literally took you. Come on, here, come here. Oh, she's like, oh yes, she's laying down in the bed again. Yes. So, all right, for a moment. Oh yeah, thunder too. That's great. Anyway, oh my God. No, I think she had to go out. She was by the door whining. And I literally opened the door and she saw the rain. She walked out a second and went, I came back in. All right, she's laying down in her bed for the moment. That's good. Anyway. Yeah. I've actually, at my mom's, I would have to take the dog out with an umbrella. Oh God. Yeah. Back in Illinois, we were getting rain up a little bit north of you. But I would take her out with the umbrella at my mom's, and it worked though because she had one of those huge umbrellas, and I would go out and trick my dog into thinking it wasn't raining with the big. It was like peanuts with the rain, but the opposite with the big circle of no rain. And we'd walk around the yard and looking like a lunatic, like with my umbrella like this, but it worked. But here, yeah, it's pouring there. I can see later if my sister has a giant umbrella, but it's supposed to rain nonstop now. I took her out, but we're getting rain, I think, for the rest of the day. Oh yeah. Till 5 a.m. Oh God, she's walking around again. Sash, I'm not sure what to tell you here. Anyway, what else? Mike says there will be no peace deals without foreign peacekeeping troops in Ukraine. I hope so. Don't know though. You want to come back in again? Okay, there you go. Okay. I think the rain is bothering. She did. Okay, that's good. She's back in the. That's good. She's back in the doggy bed. The show in principle will be the same time tomorrow. Let's just see how the day goes. But yeah, I may skip some days this week, but I'm kind of deciding as the day. Today was even though there isn't a lot of news to report today, today was a very big news day because of Zelensky and the Europeans meeting with Trump. So I felt like we had to do this, even though there isn't, I think, an hour's worth of news. We still had to talk about it. So yeah, the Oval Office bling is out of control. Looking at it, Trump keeps putting more and more gold up. Today's was horrific. Thank you, Jacob. Today's was, I've got a picture. I don't know if the picture does it justice. It was horrific, the amount of gold he had on the wall of the White House today. I just can't even, I just can't. It was so bad. I tried to save it, but I don't know if I did. I may not have. No, shoot, I had it. It was, he keeps putting more stuff up, and he gets these little like gold trim things. I can't find it now. It's spray painted gold leaf, but it's like weird gold stuff from the like from Home Depot. It's bad. I'm going to see. I don't know if I've got a recent photo though. The old photos are here anyway. Oh yeah, this was one from Newsweek. Yeah. Oh God, it's so bad. It's so. Hold on. I think I can grab this one. This one's pretty good. Oh, this one's pretty good actually. Hold on. It's so bad. There it is. I'll have to adjust the lighting because the Newsweek photo is too dark. Shadow. That should be. This is decent. It's hard because I had to lighten the photo, but you get the sense. And he actually put even more up now on the walls. He changed all the frames and made them gold. He put gold stuff on the mantle. He put, gold things on top of the mantle, gold things affixed to the mantle, gold things on the table. All the lamps are now gold. All the trim is now gold. And now there's even more stuff. This was a couple months ago. There's even more gold stuff on the walls now. You guys can see too. It's even more gold stuff on the walls now. It's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. This picture doesn't really do it justice. The picture I saw today was far worse. It was pretty bad. But yeah, so sadly, it can be, at least it can be changed back, but it's pretty bad. I don't know if they've got, oh God. The thing too is like the stuff he's putting up there is just tacky. Look at this stuff. Let's get like fake Roman gold stuff and put it up. It actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like the Germans. It looks like the stuff the Germans would have put up, right? The classical, but it's not quite classical. It's classical, but it's modern, and it's like a weird, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird fake Greek, right? And fake Roman. Let's see. I don't see any other. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other photos right now. Ugh, it's so gross. It's just so gross. It's like I said, the photo today, the photo today was far worse. Anyway, bougie. I never understand what bougie means, though. I know it's bourgeois, but I don't know in this case what it exactly means. Anyway, all right. Dog is resting, but I feel bad. If she wanted to go out again, I don't know how we're going to go out again. Anyway, what else, guys? We don't have to go long today. As I said, I kind of needed to do the show because with Trump meeting with Putin today and the Europeans, it was important. But fortunately, it went okay. So, oh, thank you. Who was that, Cynthia, for the DJ glasses? Oh, so we got it, you guys. Sorry. Also, the dog decided to leap off the bed yesterday. That was fun, too, because the bed's almost 30 inches off the ground, 27 maybe. She leapt off the bed onto a wood floor. Oh! Anyway, it was bad. She survived. I don't know how she didn't break something. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. So very scary stuff. Layla is a Yorkie poo. So, oh no, it was very bad. She was like lying on her side, growling after she fell, and I was like, "Oh God, my dog's broken." But then I picked her up and she was better. But I was like, "Oh, so now she does not sleep on the bed with me here." I'm like, and she was okay with it. Last night she slept on the floor and was okay. I made a little bed for her out of all of her, my old clothes, her bed, and she loved it. And I was like, "Okay, good." Anyway. Oh, I know it can mess them up entirely. Are you kidding? Dogs can't jump 27 inches if they're 10 pounds. Yeah. So, which actually you remind me, we're going to the vet for her checkup tomorrow. I've got to make sure I put it on the list of things just to mention to the vet to hold on. Fell. There we go. Yeah, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Aspiring to be higher class than you actually are. Ah, okay. Okay. I don't know if it's an older home. I mean, my mom's home, I think, was older. I'm guessing this home is 1950s, 1960s. My sister would know. I think it is. But mom's home was 1940 or so. So this home's got to be a little later than that. Is it hard? Yeah, it's okay being Chicago. Anyway, did Trump leave? Well, one of the weird things Trump did was he was going to call Putin after the meeting was the deal. And he called Putin in the middle of the meeting with the Europeans. He said, "Let's call Putin." And I'm sure the Europeans went, "Oh, God." But who knows? Who knows? Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, yawning at you. Anyway, I know mom's paneling. I know you'll never get to see mom's paneling again. I'm kind of curious if the new people keep the paneling or go, "Oh my God, we've got to get rid of this," or paint it white or something different. Like make it look like, was it shiplap or shiplap, whatever it's called that they like on Magnolia in Texas. Sorry. I mean, again, the dog thing, I do not sleep well with her. We were thinking of painting it when we were selling the house. We thought of it. We could have. That Magnolia shiplap. We didn't. I guess we could have. But then we also thought, you know what? Let somebody just do what they want. I mean, although it would have brightened the room a lot, and it may have made the wood look less. I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I grew up with it. The basement used to be wood paneling too, 50 years ago. This is a home here. But you know what? But we painted enough of the house and did enough that I was kind of like, let's not start to go do another room. But anyway. Oh, I'm gonna yawn again. Sorry, guys. All right. Chicago's called the Windy City because of the politics. Although it can be very windy, but because of the politics, actually. Real wood paneling is expensive. I don't know if our paneling was real wood. I don't know what that means. I mean, it's wood. Probably from the 1940s is my guess. It was there when we moved in the early 70s. Kate says, "What are the odds Trump agrees to security guarantees for Ukraine, then refuses to honor them?" Oh, yeah, duh, yeah. Kathy says 1949. So this house is 1949, so it's not much older than my mom's. Mom's was 40 or 42. Interesting, because it feels like a much more modern house. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's a couple things. Trump could offer Ukraine security guarantees and not honor them. It also depends what kind of security guarantee, right? It's are we saying if Russia attacks Ukraine, we go to war, right? I mean, it's, yeah, it depends. So no, it's even the security guarantees, it's not clear how good they are. But Ukraine's doing better than the media reports. I think people are trying to spin it that Ukraine is doing very badly or poorly, and that Russia's doing great. Russia is doing poorly. Ukraine cannot win at this point, but Russia can't either, which is not good for Russia. Russia's lost 1 million men, which is horrific, absolutely horrific. I mean, hypothetically horrific, right? You got my point. Horrific for Russia. But Yeah. So like the war is not going well for either of them. And I think we make a mistake when we pretend like, well, Ukraine's got to end this so they can just give up everything. First of all, you'll note that the Ukrainians, right? The Ukrainians are the ones dying here. You don't hear them saying, "Oh, let's give up our country." You don't hear them saying it. You don't hear them saying, "Let's give Russia a bunch of land." There, I mean, I think it's not. I think it's kind of gross for us to say, "Oh, they're losing. They need to give up a lot of land for peace." Well, they're the ones fighting. If they're losing so much, shouldn't they be the ones to decide that rather than you and me? Right? And I think they know better than we do what kind of a chance they have, you know? Um, but I don't think Ukraine can win right now. I don't think Russia can either. Is Ukraine going to kick Russia out of 18% or 20% of its land? Really? No, they're not, right? They're not. But Russia is advancing so slowly that Russia's in a bind too. That's why Russia wants Ukraine to give up all the land for free. And they want Ukraine to give up the land that's the most heavily defended that Russia cannot get. It's the land Russia wants and the land that Russia cannot get militarily. So they want Ukraine just to give it up for free. You know? You know. Yeah, Russia lost 1 million for sure. Whether 300,000 died and 700,000 injured, but Russia definitely lost 1 million troops. All the assessments say that, which is horrific numbers. You know. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, but I do think we play a little bit of a game. Well, again, it's the pro-Russia people. Ukraine's losing, but it's just the pro-Russia people, you know. And again, Russia's not doing well, but Russia is advancing very slowly, but they're losing too many men. But Putin doesn't care. Will that eventually bite him in the ass? I don't know, right? Correct, Mackenzie. Fighting to protect your home is also a lot different than being the invading force. It is. You are very often more effective also at protecting your home because you're protecting your home. You will much more fiercely protect your home, and you'll hang in there longer protecting your home than you will invading a foreign country. You feel like, right? You can question why you're in a foreign country. You don't question why you're defending your home. So, right, it can often be more effective, the defense in that case. And people don't want to give up as quickly either, right? They're willing to fight. New Ukrainian cruise missile, that's interesting. 3,000 kilometers, that would be 2,000 miles. That's interesting, Scott. Right, you know the land. That's true too, Robert. Yep. I know. I'm surprised the Russian mothers and wives. I mean, that's a lot of people, guys. It's a huge number of people killed. It's a huge number of wounded. Russia's about 153 million people or something. 1 million people? That's a hell of a lot. Yeah, but I mean, again, oh well. This is their war. Anyway, what else, guys? Not going to go too much longer. So you got to figure out how I'm taking the dog. Actually, I'm going to wait and see if there's a break in the rain. I'm going to take the dog. I'll be like, go pee, quick. Anyway, Putin is not that old. I want to say he's 72 or something. He's not that old. 71, 72, I think. How old is Vladimir Putin? 72, yeah. I mean, 72 isn't that old. It's not drop dead old, right? So. Yep, Emil says Russia's drawing manpower from other republics, not so much Moscow and St. Petersburg. Yep, they've been trying to draft young people or use young people not from the big cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, because that's where the power centers are. They're the people who have the power, who have the influence. You don't want their sons dying, right? You want the people who can't lobby you, who can't make an impact. If they lose half their population, what do, right? They're in a poor part of the country, nothing they can do. Thank you, Carrie, for the kitten. Maybe some last minute gifts before we sign off. Appreciate that, guys. What's going on? I don't know what else. What else? I'll be on the rest of the week. I don't know whether I'm doing a show each night. I might. That is a leopard skin couch. That was my grandmother's old couch, but not leopard. and my sister, sort of inherited it and decided to make it leopard print, which is really cool. I mean, it's very pretty. I don't know whether you can tell from there, but it's really pretty. It's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. And it's neat because it was like my grandmother's, I think it was red. So it's like a very old print couch. I don't know if you guys can, I can see if I can there you go. I don't know whether you can see the couch in the back or not on my screen here. But as I said, it was my grandmother. So imagine taking like a couch that looked more like, I want to say 1940s era couch, and updating it. It was red. I don't remember it. I just remember it being red. But updating like a 1940s era couch with leopard. Very cool. Yeah, it's very pretty. That's bougie. That's good bougie, if it's bougie. Anyway. Yeah, this shirt is funny. This shirt I just got at Goodwill. Oh, hey, Misha. Is Misha around? Oh, there he is. Oh, hey, Misha. Yep. Yeah, we're going to end in a second. Real leopard. It's not real leopard, no. Hey, Dave. Have a good night. Yeah, we're going to call it quits in a second here, guys. But yeah, I'll be here this week. I'm just going to kind of see whether I do shows each night. I may. It also is nice to occasionally take off, so who knows, Today was such a busy day that it was important. I felt like I had to do it. Limoncello's going to Italy. Woo, good for you. A Sasha fashion show? I don't really have anything to fashion her in, although right now she's in the bed kind of, you okay, you? Oh, are you panting? You're panting. She figured out it's raining. All right. She's in her bed panting. That's never a good thing. I'm in Chicago. Never a good thing. Oh, God. Oh, God. Which is funny because like the other night we had horrific thunder. All right? Horrific thunder. I'm talking ear-splitting explosion thunder. And she and I both woke up at one point, and of course, I'm thinking, oh shit, the dog. And she immediately goes back to sleep. And I'm like, okay, that was interesting. She would drive me nuts during rainstorms, like trying to sleep, back and forth, like freaked out the whole time. And now a little bit better. So anyway, all right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off. As I said, I'm doing about an hour for these shows. I know her hearing's less, which is helping in this case. But there was lightning too. But I mean, oh my God, it was like, I do enjoy good thunder, not because of her, I don't, but it was ear-splitting explosion thunder that was like, holy crap. Not boom, it was like a tree being split in two next to you explosion. I was like, holy shit, it was wild. Yeah. So anyway. All right. Yeah, it was. I mean, again, she woke up too. I was shocked she went to bed after that because I thought she was going to be. And my mom, she would just be like pacing, go to the door, want to leave, scratch the door, whine. I let her go, come back in the room and whine. I'm like, hours of this going, oh my God, Anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. That's the wrap up. You can always go to YouTube and see the replay of what we talked about. A good half hour of news about Ukraine, the stuff today. So you can go check it out there. Otherwise, thank you all. I will probably, I'm going to at least do update videos all week. So you'll have my videos on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I'm Aravosis on Instagram, John Aravosis DC on YouTube. So go check those out. But I will try to do a show every night at the usual time as well. Let's see. I won't be doing Saturday show because then I'm flying back to DC on Saturday. So, all right, guys. Well, have a good night. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your gifts. And I will see you guys again maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. We'll see. All right. Exactly. Hugs to the dogs. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you. As always, I'll start with Discord. All right. Goodbye, Discord first. Oh, just Jeffrey. Bye, Jeffrey. All right. Hang on. Oops. There it is. All right, YouTube. See you guys. Gotta see, where's my YouTube? There it is. End stream. Okay, bye, guys. And then TikTok. Oh, I saw that. Who is